Welcome. Hope you're having a great day today. We're going to go over chapter 11.2, which is the law of cosine. Last time we covered the law of sine, and there's a question on number 8 of your homework. So I'm going to go over that one. Number 8, chapter 11.1. Mike, can you let me know the number again? Angle B, side A and B.
Angle B equal 35 degrees and 12.
Okay.
Side A equal 38.5. Side B equal 31.1.
Okay, so again, we always want to draw our angle down to the bottom left. So that's B. Side B would be here. Since we're given A, side A would go here. Okay, so let's label everything. All right, so that means that A is here and C would be here. So let's first check the height. The height can be found by taking 38.5 times sine of 35 degrees 12 minutes. And if you type that into your calculator, you're going to get 22.19. All right, so that means that since the side that's swinging is larger than the height and smaller than this side over here, that means that we're going to have two triangles. So the first triangle, we're going to open outward. So let's label that one. We have 35 and 12 minutes, 38.5, 31.1. BAC. So we're going to find angle A first. To do that, we're going to use the law of sine. So sine A over 38.5 equals to the ratio that we're going to use here is sine of 35 degrees and 12 minutes over 31.1. So to solve for A, we're going to multiply this up here and take sine inverse. So A is equals to sine inverse of 38.5 times sine of 35 degrees and 12 minutes over 31.1. All right, plug all that into your calculator. Do you have this number, Mai?
Yeah.
What do we get here? What'd you get? I got 45.53 degrees. So let's see what significant digit they want us to round to. Oh, they want us to do it using minutes. So we have to convert this to minutes. So you can do that on the calculator if you type, let's see, angle to DMS. All right, so what we got here is 45 degrees, 31 minutes, and about 40 seconds. Okay. So if we were to round it, we would probably round this to 45 degrees and 32 seconds. Okay. Now, once we find A, now we can find angle C very easily. So take 180 minus 45.32 minus 35.12 and see what we get here. Okay, so I got 99.26666. Let's convert that to degree, minutes, and seconds. So I got 99 and 1/6. and this is equals to C. This is A. All right, so once I have that, we can use that to find the side C. So C is equals to sine of 99 degree and 16 seconds equals to the ratio 31.1 over sine of 35 degree and 12 minutes. So again, we can just multiply across here. So C is equals to 31.1 sine of 99 degree and 16 minutes divided by sine of 35 degrees and 12 minutes. Okay, let's plug all that in. All right, so I have 53.2484 and so forth. So if we were to convert this one to degree, minutes, and seconds, we would get 53 degrees, 14 minutes, and 54.4 seconds, or we can round that to minutes. So we got 53 and 15 minutes. Let's see. All right, so that's our first triangle. Let's look at our second triangle. This time we're going to go swing inward. So we're going to have a triangle that looks like this. Now we're going to pay attention to what our angle for A was, and we're going to use that in order to find our supplementary angle. So A was 45 degree and 32 minutes. We're going to subtract that from 180 degree. So let's subtract here. So I got one, let's borrow one. 60 minutes, 45, 32. So that's 8. That's 6. That's 4, 3. So 134 degrees and 68 minutes, which is our A prime. Okay. This is B prime. This is C prime. So once we have that, we can find out what is our C prime angle. I take 180 degree minus angle B. B was 3512 minus the angle we just found, 134.68. So let's see what we got here. Pretty small angle. Oh wait, I messed up. 6 to 4. This is 2. All right, let's see what we got here. I got 10 and 1/3. Let's convert that to degree minutes. So I got 10 degree and 20 seconds. 20 minutes, I mean. And that's angle C. Then we can find sine C over sine of 10 degree 20 minutes equals to the ratio that we have from the beginning, which is 31.1 divided by sine of 3512. So C equals to 31.1 sine of 10 degree 12 seconds, 12 minutes divided by sine of 3512. Okay, plug all that into your calculator. and I got 9.67. I might try to plug this into your calculator to your homework and see if that works. Be careful with the with the significant digits. This round to the nearest degree as needed, and then round to the nearest minutes as needed. Do you have any other questions from here? Okay. Hi guys, welcome. Elena, Mohammed, or Tarek, do you have any homework question that you'd like to ask? Do you guys hear me? Elena,
I don't have any homework questions.
did you do your homework?
Yes.
Good, because you told me you are going to do it right after class, right?
Yes.
Just checking on you. All right, so we're going to look at the law of cosine and the area formula. Okay, so let's talk about property of a triangle, right? So in any triangle, the sum of the length of any two sides must be greater than the length of the remaining side. So that's always true for every triangle, because in order for us to create a triangle, the two lengths have to add so that it's longer. So that means that it has to create some angle to go up here. So if the two sides equals to the third side, that means we're just basically going to have a line. Because let's say this is 4 here and this is 6 here. If we have that, then that means to connect this from here to here, it's just going to be a straight line, because the total of it is 10. So which means it's going to lay on top of this line. So that will not create a triangle. All right, so to derive the law of cosine is kind of tedious, but not that bad. So let ABC be any oblique triangle drawn as follows. And the sine of B, so we have our angle B here using y over c. Now remember that y is the height here from for this triangle divided by c. Okay, so we can basically find out using the same idea as before, and when we set x and y equals to the law of sine using c sine b and c cosine b, we have the following coordinates. Okay. Now this is not really surprising, because we know before that xy in a unit circle is equals to cosine theta sine theta, right? So this is exactly the same result as before. Now when we do that, we can use the distance formula in order to determine the basically distance between it, and we can come up with this formula here. Now, this is not the only formula that we can use. It really depends on what you want to call what the base is and what is the height. Okay, so there is 3 deviations of the law of cosine, and I'm going to show you all 3. Instead of memorizing this, I do not suggest you memorize all 3 of these, but I would suggest you memorize the location and the relationship between all of these variables. So here is how I would suggest you memorize this. If you want to solve for A, okay, you see that the angle A is used here. So the angle and the side that you solve for have a relationship, okay? All right, so we know that we know A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now we know that that's Pythagorean theorem, but in a law of cosine, all of the triangle that we have are scalene triangle, which means we do not have a right triangle. This is the reason why we have to subtract this portion here. Also, the reason why is that C here is no longer the hypotenuse, because we actually don't know what the hypotenuse is, because we have a scalene triangle. Therefore, we can rotate it however we want, and we have one of the sides be a hypotenuse if we were to draw it like this. So the hypotenuse would be here if we consider this side and this side be our legs. Okay. All right. So the relationship between A, B, and C is that if B is here, the other two variable is here. Okay. Now, what is the relationship between this and these two? Well, if A and C is present, then A and C is present here. Okay, and it's always 2 in all of them. You see A here, B here, we multiply A and B here. We know this is C because the other side, we are solving for C. Okay? All right, so let's look at the relationship of these formula. If I'm solving for A, okay, so we know A squared equals to B squared plus C squared. That's the relationship using the Pythagorean theorem. Minus 2, the two values that we use on the right-hand side gets used to multiply here, B times C, times cosine. Cosine of what angle? The angle that you're looking for is the one that you're trying to solve for. That's opposite from the side. So angle A. Okay? So let's say we do C. C squared means we need A and B here, both squared. If I use A and B here, I'm going to use A and B here. Cosine, whatever angle this is the same thing as the side you're solving for, so cosine of C. So try to memorize this instead of the different kind of formula here. It'll be much easier for you to do it when you see an actual diagram. All right, so here it doesn't really matter how you label it because we're not going to try to memorize the formula. We can label it however we want. So here I have side with one angle. So I want to solve for B or C, right? So we have A to solve for and the angle that we already have here. So we're going to solve for A. So the formula for A squared. If I use A already, I'm going to go with B plus C squared. Minus, since I use B and C, I'm going to use 2BC here. Cosine of A, which is the same thing of the side you're trying to solve for. Okay, so now let's set it up. We know that B equal 5 and C equals 11. And my angle A is 52 degrees. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to plug it into this formula and see if you got it right. Because be very careful with the formula and how you type it into your calculator. Okay, so I'll give you some time to practice plugging this in, and then we'll see if there's any mistakes that we need to fix. Okay, so let's plug it in. B squared, we have 5 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 5 times 11, cosine of 52 degrees. All right, don't forget to take the square root as well. So did we get 8.8 for A? Terry or Mohammed? Okay, from your silence, I hope you got it.
I got 8.8.
Thank you, Elena. Let's move on. All right, there you go. Try this one. Set it up. See, this is why I like having you here, Elena. You actually reply. Okay, type in your answer in the chat when you're done. Hey, good job, Elena. 628.09. All right, so we see how this set it up. So the side that we want to find is AB. So that's our unknown side. We're going to put that on the left-hand side. And the two known side that we know is 259 and 423. So each one of those gets square minus 2 times each one of those times cosine of the angle opposite from the side that we want. so which is 132 degree and 40 minutes. And so I'll plug it in. Okay, try this one here. Same thing, type in the chat when you're done. All right, pretty easy, right? So we're just going to set it up just like before. The unknown is going to be on one side, square. The two sides that we do know be 12.9 square plus 15.4 square minus 2 times each one of these, 12.9 times 15.4 times cosine of the angle A, which is the opposite from the unknown, 42.3. All right, type all that into your calculator and you get 10.47 meters. So this is pretty straightforward, right? Okay, so let's look at the caution here. So let's look at what we had. So if we had chosen to find C rather than finding B, we would have not known whether C is equals to 81.7 or its supplement. So the problem, whenever we're doing the law of cosine, is here. So B must be the smaller of the two remaining angles. So why do we know that? Well, you see that side B is smaller than side C, so therefore angle B have to be smaller than angle C. Okay, so therefore we can find out what is the obtuse one by looking at what side is available here. Okay. All right, so next we're going to look at solving side for a triangle that has 3 sides and solving for one of the angle. All right, so solving the triangle ABC to the nearest tenth of a degree. All right, so note here, solve for the largest, go first. Well, how do I know which one is the largest angle? Well, the largest angle would be opposite from the side with the longest length. So here, the length is the longest for C, so we can solve for angle C first. If I want to solve for angle C, that means that C have to be on the other side by itself. That means that A squared and B squared will go here, minus 2 each one of these angle cosine of angle C. Okay, so when we plug it in, you can see that we can solve for cosine C by moving everything to the other side. Now make sure that we move these two first, and then we need to divide by this, because this is multiplication with cosine. So I'm going to have c squared minus a squared minus b squared equals negative 2ab cosine c. Now I can get rid of all of this right here by dividing both sides by negative 2ab. Okay? All right. So over here, you see something that's kind of peculiar. Now, they do it a little bit, this, it's kind of the same, except that you notice here they factor a negative to cancel with this negative here. Okay, so what I have here and here is exactly the same thing, but here it looks nicer because there's no negative to deal with. So if you factor out a negative in the numerator, you have a plus b squared minus c squared. So that's a negative there, and a negative 2ab, and these two negative can cancel, which will give you this formula here. Okay. But I would rather just memorize this one and then derive the formula for it rather than trying to memorize this formula here. Okay. All right, so here, just another plug and chug. We just plug in A, B, and C, and we'll find out what is the value for C is by taking cosine inverse. All right, so cosine inverse, we have 109.5 degree. So the law of cosine could be used to find A and B. However, we can just use the law of sine, which is probably a little bit easier because there's less to plug in. So after we finish finding C, notice here that we're going to find angle A and angle B. So here just use the law of sine in order to solve for the missing angles. So let's draw again and see what we get here. All right, so for angle A, see what we get. It's 5, B 6, C is 9. And we just solve for angle C, which is 109.5 degrees. So now that's the ratio that we're going to use for law of sine. So I can choose to solve for A first or B first, doesn't matter. So sine A over A, and we have the ratio here from angle C. So sine of 109.5 degrees over 9. And we can solve for sine A by taking sine inverse of A. Wait, what is A here? A here is 5. So let's put 5 in there. Sine 109.5 divided by 9. Plug all that in, and you should get 31.6 degree. Okay, and then the last angle always subtracted from 180. If you have two of the angles, the last angle should always be solved by subtracting from 180. Do not use the law of sine again. And the reason why that is because all three angles have to equal to 180 degree. All right, so go ahead and solve for this example. Remember that we need to solve for the largest angle first. All right, so type in the angles in the chat when you're done. So when we say solve triangle, we need to find all of the 6 parts. So that means that we need to find A and B as well.
I'm working on angle A right now.
Okay. Thank you for the update. Anybody else having problems? Mohammed? Haven't heard from you. Can you say something, Mohammed? Let me know you're alive.
Yeah, I plug all the the numbers on the equation, but on the calculator, but it still give me a wrong answer. I don't know what's wrong.
Okay, so when that happens, you need to make sure that you are in degree mode, not radian. Can you
Degree
check your
mode.
mode?
Oh yeah, on degree mode.
Yeah, it is in degree mode.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have to make sure you type it in correctly. So here, let me share my screen here.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me what you are typing in.
Uh, I put the equation like first c square minus a square minus b square over 2ab to
Okay,
find
so let's
c.
do it over here, right? You
So
wanna
I put
can
21.1
you
square.
join the whiteboard? Can you join the
Yeah.
whiteboard right now? Here, I'll give you a link.
Okay.
And let's figure out your calculator problem here.
Okay.
Yeah, so show me your work here. So if you did something wrong, I can help you figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and write on the blank page here.
Okay. It's working. It's kind of hard to write this with the mouse.
Yeah, I understand. Just write big. It's okay. Okay, so I think you are forgetting a negative sign on the bottom right here. I think that's why you're messing up, because you're doing c squared minus a squared minus b squared, right? Right? If you're doing this way, it should be negative 2ab. If you're doing the other way, where we factor out a negative, this is the same thing as saying a squared plus b squared minus c squared, and there's no negative on the bottom. So this is what you're missing right here. Do you see what I'm writing, Terry? You're muted. I can't hear you.
Yes, I see that. I see
Okay.
it.
Okay. Good, good.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. So
Professor,
there
I have
we
a
got,
question real quick.
yes, Elena.
Does it matter which equation we decide to use? Do we like? Are there some cases we might need to use the equation with all the negatives, or?
No, it's either one's fine. The only thing that's different is we factor out a negative.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's look at for B, and B, Elena, you got 45 degree, and A, you got 25. Okay, very good. So we got B here is 45.1 degree and 25 degree. You law of sine, and then we subtract from 180 to find the third angle. Okay. All right, so here is our next problem. Feel free to write on the whiteboard on the side there. But basically solve the triangle. So ideally, I think they want us to find angle B, but I'd like you guys to find all three angles. Remember to do this in order, so you need to solve for angle A first, because we need to solve for the largest angle first, okay? Are we done, guys, or we need more time?
I need a little bit more time to solve one more side so that I can I can subtract them from 180.
Tarek, Mohammed, how are we doing? Mike?
Yeah, I still need more time. 12 to the
Okay.
second.
Yeah. Do you have any problems? You need help or just need time?
I just need time.
Okay.
Alrighty, Professor, I finished.
Okay, great. Can you write the answer on the chat?
Yes.
All right, so let's see. All right, so I went straight to solving for B here, but I want to see if you guys find all three of them. So let's see, they found B was 33 degree, and Elena got 33.1. That's good. I think they rounded to the nearest degree. But let's see how we can find A, which is our largest one. So here we're going to set it up. So we want to solve for angle A. So side A would be on the other side. B squared plus C squared minus 2 BC cosine of A. And if I want to solve for angle A, I'm going to plug in everything and then just solve for it. So 11 squared. B is 6 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times 6 times 9 cosine of A. So I'm going to subtract 6 and 9 and divide by -2, 6 times 9, and then take cosine inverse of all of that. And you should get, see what Elena got here. Elena, you got 92.1. Okay, so that makes sense because that is the largest one. And you can see here in this picture that since this is the longest side, that means that angle A should be the largest angle. Okay. Mai, did you get the same thing? Terry?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Okay. All right, so let's look at the summary of what we have here. All right, if you have side angle angle or angle side angle, now anytime we do this, okay, we're going to be able to use the law of sine. Now let's look at what side angle angle look like. So when I have side angle angle, I have this side, this angle, and this angle. Since I have two of the angle, I can definitely find the third angle so that I can have a pair of a ratio in order to use the law of sine. All right, so it's the same thing for angle, side angle. Of course, you can always find the third angle here. Then you have a pair or a ratio in order to use law of sine. If you have side-side angle, that's the ambiguous case that we're talking about. So here we have side, side, and then an angle. So make sure that this side is longer than the height, that if it's between the height and this angle, then we're going to have two triangle. If it's larger than this angle, we have one triangle. All right, if we have side angle side, which is what we just did, that is using the law of cosine. And then side, 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 which example we did just now, we're going to use the law of cosine to find the largest angle first, and then use the law of sine to find the remaining other two. And then, of course, for the third angle, you have to subtract from 180 to find the third side. Okay. All right, so here we're going to look at Heron's area formula. Now, this formula only applicable if you have three sides. Now, normally when we are asked to find the area of a triangle, well, that's really easy. You actually learned this maybe in fourth grade. We take the base times the height and then divide that by 2. Now, the reason why that is because we can take any triangle and be able to break it up, okay? And if you break this up like this, you will have a base times the height. So this is the base, this is the height, right? So if you multiply the base times the height, you're actually going to get a rectangle with double the area of this triangle. So that means that's the reason why we are dividing it by 2. So here, this is a very simple formula. Now, this is assuming we have the height. But if we have the height, we can use Heron's formula, which require us to have all three sides. So if we have all three sides, we're going to use this formula, where S represents the semi-perimeter. Semi just means half of the perimeter. So you can see here we're adding up all the sides and then taking half of it, hence the word semi-perimeter, half of the perimeter. Then the area of the triangle will give you S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C. So we take the difference of each of the side with the semi-perimeter times the semi-perimeter itself. Okay. All right. So let's look at an example like this. I'll rewrite the formula over here so you can have it. So S is A plus B plus C over 2, and the area is the square root of S, S minus A, S minus B, and S minus C. Okay, so here the formula is very straightforward. Just plug it in to find S first, then plug it in here to find the area. Give you a minute to work on that.
Ignore my answer, it's wrong.
Me too. I couldn't do the A. It says something wrong.
I forgot to
Yeah,
divide by 2. I multiplied by 2 when I got my S answer, which messed me up.
oh no. Okay. Yeah, that's humongous, huh? Tarek, what do you have?
I found the S, but when I plug it in to find the A, it says something wrong.
So make sure that you don't have anything negative. So when you're taking S, S should be the largest one. So S should be larger than A, B, and C. Okay, so if you have S is smaller than one of those, you're going to get a negative answer. And then when you take square root, you're going to have, an imaginary number. So you can't have that.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is why I asked you to write it down so I can spot what you did wrong for you.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So here, first thing you need to do, plug into a formula, A, B, and C, add them all up, and then divide by 2. So your S should be 2,604.5. And then we just plug into the formula. We have about 401,700,000. Yeah, Elena got it. So you're a bit more precise because you got 664 there. Okay, so after this, we have one more formula of the triangle, area of a triangle, and we're done. Where are you writing it at? I don't see it.
Yes, I spotted the mistake. Actually,
Okay.
it's from the calculator. It was on science instead of normal.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
See?
that's why
Yeah,
it
so
keep
be
missing
careful
it.
with that.
Hmm.
Okay, so area of a triangle given side, angle, side. So let's look at how we arrive at this formula. So when we have a triangle that is given side, angle, side, it may look something like this. So here's a side that's given, angle, side. So if we have side, angle, side, we are able to find the height, which is this one. Okay. All right. So let's just say A, B, C. So B here, C here, and A here. All right. So since it's given side, angle, side, so it's going to be given C, angle A, and side B. So that's what's given, right? So that means I can find out the height. Okay. So if I know this angle A, sine of A is equals to the height divided by C, right? Or the height is equal to C times sine A. Okay. Now, what is the area of a triangle formula that you're used to seeing? Well, area is equals to base times height divided by 2. Well, what is the base in this triangle, in this example here? The base is B. The height is here. So in this formula, we have the base, which is B, times the height, which is H, divided by 2. But if I can solve for H using C, because C is given and A is given, so that means I can do direct substitution for H. So I do B times C sine A. And this is the area given side, angle, side. So let's look at what is used here. You notice that we are given angle A, side B, side C. So that means that if I rotate this any other way, just like the cosine formula, the area is equals to, if I am given A and B, that means that I can take sine of angle C. Or if I'm given A and C, I can take the sine of angle B. Okay, so that is the relationship between A, B, and C. Of course, two of them are sides, one of them is angle. So that is what they have here. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the divide by 2. All of them are divided by 2. Okay, or times 1/2, same thing. All right, so that is how you can remember the area formula when given side, angle, side. So let's look back. We have Heron's formula is used for side, side, side. Um, this area, which is just a normal formula for area here, okay, where we have base times height divided by 2. All we did is substitute h in there, which is in term of sine, and we can use this whenever we have a side, angle, side triangle. If we don't have a side, angle, side, or side, 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 then you need to be able to solve for it so that we have one or the other. Okay. All right, so let's look at this triangle, and I'd like you guys to find the area of this. So first determine what kind of triangle are you given. Here you are given side, angle, side. So you want to use the formula that I just discussed. We got it yet? Elena, you done?
I'm typing it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's right though. I'll be honest with you.
What's that? Just plug in formula. Tell me what you use.
I used I used A times C sine B over 2.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, let me type it.
So when you put it over 2, make sure that the division by 2 is all over the values. So that's why they wrote it as 1/2. So you don't want to put sine of 55 and then divide by 2 so that the 2 is in the argument of sine. Okay, so that's a common mistake there. So here they put it 1/2 times that. So instead of writing it, because if you type in your calculator like this and then you put divide by 2, this here is wrong. Don't do that. Okay, but if you put parentheses around it, it'll be okay.
Yeah, I put parentheses around the whole thing and then divide it by 2. So I
Okay.
got it right. I just didn't round up the next decimal. I didn't.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, last problem. Let's see. Okay, so here they are giving you an angle and an angle and a side. So angle, side, angle. Okay, so let's do this one. First, you always want to draw it out first. Okay, so here we need to find either side angle side or side 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 in order to use the area formula. So now we need to find out another side. So we can find out this angle pretty easily because we can just subtract that from 180. So 180 minus, oh, it's right here. So 180 minus 2440 minus 5240, and so we get 102 degree and 40 minutes. So now that we have a ratio, we can set it up to find either C or A. So we can have side angle side. So here we're solving for A. So to solve for A, we're going to set up A over sine A equals B over sine B. Plug it in. And then to solve for A, we're going to take, let's see, B times sine A divided by sine B. So we already have B is 27.3, sine of 102 degree and 40 minutes divided by sine of, oops, I'm sorry, sine A. Let's see, sine A. Sine A, which is 24 and 40, over sine B, which is 102 and 40. And A, they got 11.7 centimeters. All right, now that we have side angle side, we can just use our formula. So area is equals to 2 of the sides multiplied together times the sine of the angle between those two sides, so 5240. And see what they got here. 127 centimeters square. Okay. Oh, don't forget 1/2. I always forget that half. Okay, did you guys got 127?
Yes.
Awesome. Mai, did you get it? Tarek?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, do you have any homework questions, or just any questions in general you like to ask before we wrap up this week? No?
I didn't do the test.
Uh-oh, why didn't you do the test?
Yeah, because I was out of state.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now.